My name is Badger Johnson.
And I'm Chris Smyth.
We have the Southern Ohio Chestnut Company here. We grow paws, which are these delicious Appalachian custard apples. We grow garlic in between the rows of trees in a system that people refer to as alley cropping. And then above the shade-tolerant small pawpaw trees, there are chestnuts. And that is the main crop around which the other ones are developed. We're basically reforesting this area that was a pasture, but used to be a forest.
We are partnering with the Nature Preserve to come behind a rather failed prairie planting. And to plant the farm, we organize really big work parties. It's a great way to trade different kinds of values, and usually it's like an informal farming conference.
Planning for a future climate resilient and equitable world is really important to both of us. Apart from just providing food for people, we're growing crops that were cultivated by Native peoples for generations, like pawpaw, and we're just picking up the torch on that lineage and trying to grow more food for people. The chestnuts are going to take some 10 years before they're really productive. So we've got 10 years of high quality prairie that we're cultivating between the rows of trees.
In our alley cropping scheme, we use cover crops, and we are working towards organic no-till crop rotation with cover crops and multiple different cash crops. People are always looking for land to start small vegetable growing operations. How many people making their living off of farming off less than an acre could be alley cropping and have their livelihood come from this orchard? We have the space for when people need it.
The goal is to be a multi-farm business. There's complication with it, but it's threading a needle and finding the right companion pair of crops.
So whatever specialty crop you might get into, there's going to be very particular considerations. The chestnuts themselves are fairly low maintenance. You want to keep the grass mowed around the base of the trees so the grass doesn't drink up all the water that the trees need.
So we irrigate the crop. It kept the trees alive in that first year. We just had a rough 5-week drought period that the trees probably wouldn't have made it through.
We're trying to organically control one of the pests that alliums, that the garlic gets, by planting sorghum Sudan grass, plowing the residue under, so that poisons, without having to spray anything, the onion maggot that can get into garlic.
One challenge that we have is the next 6 years, there's going to be a need for labor, but not all year around. Keeping good people is going to be tricky for us.
Another difficulty that we face is getting to a scale.
Obviously, this is kind of a Goldilocks situation. It's a sweet spot of a partnership with the Nature Preserve to provide quality conservation as well as like attention being paid to an area that was a little beyond their capacity. So we're looking for more opportunities like that, as well as buying land so then it's access to capital.
A good strategy for learning about agroforestry would be to figure out, at least vaguely, what system you think would be good. And you can talk to people who are sort of experts about that in your region.
So if I would offer any advice to people wanting to get into agroforestry, starting small and failing small, working with these diverse systems takes a different kind of lens, and training yourself on the small really helps if you ever want to get to a larger scale.